So a lot of people might have missed it. I don't know how, but maybe Monday Night Football. But last night, Sean Diddy Combs was arrested in New York City at a hotel that he was staying at. And now this morning, today, while I'm making this video, the indictment came out. And this is a lot different because now this is the actual, what is it, U.S. Southern District of New York. I think it's going after him. United States of America, United States District Court, Southern District of New York. Yup. So you got now it's no longer just a couple of people suing him for whether it's money or pain and suffering, etc. Now you actually got a real case, the federal government against you, and this looks like it's going to be the end for the diddler. Puff Daddy, look at the Sean Combs, aka Puff Daddy, aka P Diddy, aka Diddy, aka PD, aka Love. They're throwing all the names at him. They're going after him. So we got the indictments. I'll read a little bit here, but we got a couple of videos that just kind of recap it. We're going to watch this TMZ one here with Harvey. Let's see what he says.
The indictment has now come down against Sean Diddy Combs, and there is absolutely no doubt prosecutors have thrown the book at him. Among other things, he has been charged with racketeering, kidnapping, and sex trafficking.
Racketeering, sex trafficking, kidnapping. So a lot of this stuff was also brought up in some cases, right? A lot of people didn't believe this guy, but remember, this all comes on the heels of a raid that happened 6 months ago where they went over to his homes in Los Angeles, Miami, and New York, took some stuff, and now they have enough evidence that this stuff is no longer just rumors for them to go, be confident enough to throw some charges like this, including a RICO charge.
This is all based on a grand jury indictment where prosecutors went to the grand jury over a period of months. Now, there is a long list here. He's charged with prostitution, coercion, enticing to engage in prostitution, narcotics offenses, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. The complaint, the indictment, mentions the now notorious freak-off parties, calling them, and this is the words from the indictment, elaborate and produced sex performances that Combs arranged, directed, masturbated during, and often electronically recorded. It talks about luring women.
So that is an interesting piece right there, because everybody wanted to know if these tapes were real. And it says there in the charges, often recorded. So I'm assuming that in this raid, they got some kind of videos. Again, this all comes from some of the lawsuits against him. We've had on our stream, we went over the indictments that are one of the complaints before in the case. And the files were showing stuff that he would do this. He would hire prostitutes. He would have, drugs and all these parties. He will have people cover for him to do stuff. The arson charge, that could be in relation to the one, I think somebody's car, was it Cassie's car or something like that, was burned down, or her boyfriend's or something like that, got blown up. I wonder if that has anything to do with it. We'll look at the indictments in a little bit, but yeah, a lot of these stuff that was in these files are now appearing in this indictment from the grand jury. So yeah, I think it's safe to say that what case was it? I forgot his name. That he might be, all his stuff that he put in there might be legit, because it's a lot of it from his case or from his lawsuit. So yeah, this is very interesting.
Combs luring women into his orbit under the pretense of a romantic relationship, and then using force, threats of force, and coercion to cause these victims to engage in extended sex acts with male commercial sex workers. There is more. After these freak-offs, the indictment says that Combs and the victims actually received IV fluids to recover from what they call physical exertion and drug use. As for the kidnapping allegations, unclear what they are. They just reference them as do arson and several other crimes, but they say they were committed in California. Now, as for drug use, the indictment says there was an intent to distribute narcotics which include cocaine, oxycodone, Xanax, GHB, which is the date rape drug, MDMA, and ketamine. It goes on to say that during the raids of his homes in Beverly Hills and Miami, they found 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant, suggesting this was part of the freak ops. They also found 3 AR-15s with defaced serial numbers and drum magazines. There is also a clear reference to the Cassie video, the video where Diddy brutalized Cassie at the Century City Hotel. They talk about assaulting a woman by striking, punching, dragging her in March of 2016, clearly Cassie. And they say that after the indictments in 2023.
Now, the Cassie tape is interesting because he actually purchased that tape from the hotel, and then the raid happened, and it wasn't even that long after that video came out, and a lot of people speculated then that the feds dropped that video, basically, or leaked it, and now they have these charges rolled up into with these videos. So this was something that he thought he took care of, and instead of burning the evidence or whatnot, I kept it like as a trophy or something. This dude, I'm telling you, man, Diddy is just not right in the head. It is absolutely insane how like this whole story and, like, you know, growing up and listening to, you know, to Puff Daddy and Biggie and all them, and like how all this now is just crashing down. He had a documentary, he had like a little comeback tour and like all this other stuff, and it is absolutely amazing now that this man, you talk about a fall from grace, and it's kind of, you know, unsettling that a lot of these people that have like such a high stature at one point, right, whether it's Bill Cosby, Diddy, Paterno, like all these guys that you know, that like that quote, that phrase from The Dark Knight, you know, you live long enough to become the enemy, is like there's nothing more true than that saying, honestly, because you see it firsthand all the time, and it's absolutely crazy how, like, this is, to me, one of the biggest downfalls of all time.
Diddy tried to pressure witnesses not to cooperate with authorities. If he is convicted, he faces decades behind bars. His lawyer says that Diddy is not only not guilty, he is innocent. As I speak right now, he is about to go into federal court to hear the charges and answer. He is expected to plead not guilty. He has surrendered his passport, and it appears he is trying to get bail.
So, yeah, I mean, look, obviously he's going to say he's not guilty of all this, because, I mean, there's no coming back from this. There is no coming back from this. Here's the indictments. For decades, Puff Daddy, the defendant, abused, threatened, coerced women and others around him to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct. I mean, that's the thing. He's going to go into court now with this hanging over him, trying to prove that he is not like this. So he's basically going to tell people, right, the jury, that everybody's out for him instead, right? He's going to be the guy with the money, that they all did it against him, even though in his own home there's thousands of bottles of lube and all this stuff. He's not going to be able to get away with a lot of this, if any of it. Obviously the gun charges are going to stick, because those, he can't say that that's planted, I would imagine. All this stuff was in his home when he got raided. It's going to be a hard sell. There's just no defending him. I really don't. I'm sure if I'm his lawyer, I'm like, oh man, what am I doing? Luckily he has money right now, for now anyways. Who knows how long that'll last. This is just, he is done, man. He is really done. I see no way out of this at all. I don't know what kind of angle he could try to, go at this. He has multiple people coming at him, and everything seems to have been proven correctly by them as well, right? Originally, he denied that he abused Cassie and that, he paid her off, and that it was just an attempt for money. Then that video drops and he's all like, oh, I take full responsibility, even though he denied that at first. So we can't even believe him. What are we trusting with him? Seriously, he can't. Anything he says is a lie at this point, because he's already been proven a liar just on the Cassie case alone. And I'm telling you, I just don't see any way out of this for him. Combs ensured participation from women, among other things, obtaining and distributing narcotics to them, controlling their careers. We had bouncers attest to this, right? He has a lot of people. Like I said, he's going to try to convince people that everybody is against him, and that is so many people that he's going to be trying to point the finger at that have been implicating this for years. There's even videos of people implicating this without even a case. They're like bragging about it. There's like videos and behind the scenes of making stuff and things like that would say, oh man, Diddy would have these parties and he'll get one guy to go get drugs and all that. Like that's what happens when you brag about stuff like this. It's gonna all come back to bite you in the ass later on, and it's definitely coming tenfold on Diddy, because a lot of this stuff isn't even cynical or anything like that, or an attempt to get money. This was all just kind of talked about just loosely, and everybody just kind of laughed at it. And now there's no laughing matter at this. When a member of the hotel security staff interviewed Combs, attempted to bribe the staff member to ensure silence. Combs' violence was also not limited to these women. It extended to his employees, witnesses to his abuse, and others. I mean, like I said, he has a lot of people that are now like, yeah, he did this, he did that. Like I said, if you want to read the full indictments, you can follow a lot of the pages. Philip Lewis has it. He has the indictment on Twitter. That is how I pulled this one. I don't want to read it all because I don't want to make a 30-minute video. I'll probably go on stream and talk about it. But there is a lot to unpack. The main highlight of it is that he is indicted on sex trafficking, racketeering, and kidnap charges. He had freak offs, thousands of bottles of baby oil and lubricants, firearm charges, including 3 AR-15s with defaced serial numbers, drum magazines, and all this is in the California home, by the way. So he's definitely in trouble on that for sure. It's like I said, it's very shocking, but not surprising in the last 10 years, I would say. I just think the shocking part of it is the downfall of Diddy. Like, again, one of those guys where if everything turned out where no one has said anything, like that's, you talk about a story, right? That from lowest of lows, right? Streets of New York to one of the most successful business people in the world, and now it's complete opposite of that. His story is, his career and everything is now going to be a story of demise and just a downfall that is unheard of in history. Looking back, the career of Diddy is just going to be one of shame and everything else. Absolutely amazing. Anyways, let me know in the comment section below what you think of everything. Diddy the fan, the diddler, looks like he is done. The USS the Southern District of New York is after him. I'm out.